guess I'll start by saying that kratom kratom is really an amazing uh, supplement, medicine, herb. It's actually a miracle plant. You know, every plant that's been put on the universe, every, every plant on planet Earth has its purpose and has its place in the world as they relate to humans. Every single plant has a purpose, not just trees that give us oxygen, but every plant has a specific purpose or specific purposes, and different plants actually can interact with one another to create something else, some type of solution to a problem. Let's say every medicine that we have today, any synthetic medicine, pill, treatment whatsoever, whatnot, is comes from nature. They replicate say the DNA of the plant, add something here, take something off there to get the effect that they need. But everything comes from a plant. So the ancient knowledge of medicine is actually the true medicine, is the real medicine. I'm not gonna go too deep into that because we all know that it's all about profit and using the least amount of resources to make the maximum amount of profit. That's what this world is all about. But kratom is it's an amazing medicine. It really is. The problem with the kratom is it is addictive. It does act like a opioid, opiate. Um, so it is highly addictive. Just it is not just psychological, emotional, or even spiritual. No, it's physically addictive. Your body will need it. Your body will need more and more the more and more you do. So it's not about me having an addictive personality. I don't believe in addictive personality. That it doesn't make sense. I think the only thing that would make sense as far as the term addictive personality would be somebody has such a dope personality that you're just addicted to being around them and hanging around them. Like, you're addicted to them because their personality is like gives you something that you want more and more and more of. That's what an addictive personality would really mean. Addiction has nothing to do with personality. Somebody can have a personality one day, the next day they have a totally different personality. I'm not talking about a psychiatric disorder. I'm talking about whatever the person decides they want to be like the next day. Well, they can attempt to be that way and actually be successful doing it too. I see it all the time. But yeah, so there's no addictive personality. There is addiction, and there's the disease of addiction, of being an addict. And most people that suffer from the disease of addiction, they're not just addicted to one thing. They're addicted to usually multiple things. It has nothing to do with their personality. It has to do with their spiritual condition, something that went wrong physiologically. Uh, we don't know if if it's a genetic thing, if it's passed down. We don't know that. No, but there's no real proof of that. People say that, but there's no proof. They don't have the sequence of genes that makes it. Okay, this sequence right here, this is what makes a person an addict. Once if we do ever figure that out, then we'll get closer to finding a cure. And honestly, there's probably no cure. There's no way because just because of the impact addiction has on civilization, There's purpose for it, believe it or not. It's not just all bad. So I've been using Kratom for about 3 years, maybe a little over 3 years. I'm not gonna go into a huge story of how it started, how I use, and all that. I'll try to keep it as simple as possible. Kratom worked wonders for me. Um, Honestly, it may have done more good than bad actually, because I had another addiction, and when I started doing Kratom, I didn't have the desire to participate in this other addiction. And also, when I'm using Kratom, I don't want to touch any other drugs at all. It it takes it away, because Kratom gives you what you need. It gives you the relief. It gives you the peace. The a lot of people take Kratom for social anxiety. It gives you that breath of fresh air where you can exist. You know, but the problem is Kratom, just like any other drug, it starts working less and less, and eventually it actually does the opposite. It does the complete opposite. Once you abuse it enough, like for me, Kratom like gave me the ability to conversate with people with ease. It gave me this hope, this optimism, where everything was all right. And after a few years of abusing it, now it's like I, I drink the Kratom and I'm like the exact opposite. I'm like awkward as fuck to try to conversate. That's weird, but that's what happened to me. And that's why they say you should only take Kratom a couple times a week. Definitely not every day. Definitely not all day, like I do. I drink Kratom 3 or 4 times a day. Every 4 6 hours, I gotta drink it, because I'm physically dependent on it. Not I get sick. Um, so I have detox off Kratom cold turkey, and it's the worst physical experience I've ever felt. It lasted like Look, it lasted a total of 17 days before I felt like my normal self. But the real withdrawals, the fucking brutal anxiety at night, the chills, hot flashes, the aches, the pains, the uncomfortability, that lasted a good 4 days of intense. Then another 4 days of like mild. I would say like the 10th or 11th day was when I started feeling okay. Like, okay, I can work, I can do shit. Motivation's still not there, optimism's still not there. You still feel like something's wrong, but honestly, those first 4 or 5 days is pretty much unbearable. For me, it was unbearable. I was beating my head against a concrete wall because the anxiety was so bad, and I didn't have nothing to take to deal with it. All I could do is walk around, do push-ups, bang my head against the wall, because it was from 10 p.m. to 6 in the morning. Severe anxiety, unbearable, unfucking bearable. I wouldn't wish it on anybody, but I managed to do it. And eventually, 36 days later, I got back on it. And since then, I've been trying to get back off it again, and I haven't been able to. I've been to treatment twice, uh, Baker acted myself twice. Every time I come out, I go right back to it. So I kind of like gave up. I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna keep doing it. But now I'm at the point where, bro, it's fucking up my life, like across the board, financially, socially, work. It's fucked, bro. And I'm not blaming it on the Kratom. It's all me. That's what happens to anything I start doing every single day. It destroys me. So I guess I'm just gonna film the experience of cold turkey detox, because that's the point where I'm at now. I've tried it all. I keep trying to taper off and do this, and I can't, bro. It's just the reality. I can't fucking taper off. I end up doing more than I'm supposed to. It doesn't work, bro. It doesn't work. I've tried to use benzos to detox, which can work. It should work, but not with me. I end up doing them all, and I've tried it. I can't count on one hand how many times I've tried to. On both hands, I can't count the times I've tried to detox with benzos, and it was actually working. But I decided to do more than I should. The next thing you know, I'm doing kratom with it. So I guess I put myself in a position where I'm supposed to go through this shit again. I'm supposed to feel the pain and go through the suffering because it's what the fuck I deserve. I've earned it. And I'm either going to man up and do it and go through it, or I'm just going to be a little bitch and keep living the way I don't want to live, which no human being should do that. No human being should live the way you don't want to live. I'm not talking about doing tasks or objectives that you don't want to do, but ultimately they're for your good. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about overall your state of living. You don't want to live a certain way. You should not live that way. And I don't know about most, but I know a lot of people do, bro. They work where they don't want to work. They're around the people they don't want to be around with. They do things they don't want to do, whether it's addictions or habits. Or they don't follow what you would call God's voice. And you either follow God's voice or you follow the other voice. The other voice is quick, instant gratification. Right then, there, things okay. But it leads to hell ultimately. So you want to do the hard shit, follow God's voice, leads to heaven. But ultimately, it's your own will. It is what you want, you know? But yeah, I'm going off track here. I don't know. Honestly, I want to sit here and say I know I can do it. And I have to do it. But I've not done it every other time. So the stats are there. But maybe making these videos